Thank you.
What were some of the biggest takeaways that you hope to just continue to build momentum off of?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is obviously defensively, minimizing the chances that we allow for the opponent. So I think we're still very proud of the team's mentality defensively and how we're able to continue to have shutouts. And then also on the flip side, just the amount of chances that we're able to create. Obviously we'd like to have finished maybe some more of those chances, but the fact that we're creating those chances is fantastic for us. So I think, it's just to continue to build and move forward with that.
Specifically with Cooper, we've seen all season her tear down the side and whip crosses in, but talk me through what you saw from this specific goal. She's been very vocal about what she wants to grow on, and I feel like this goal was a great example.
Yeah, I think it's making sure that she's able to keep the defenders guessing. Obviously we can see her cutting in on her left foot and being able to finish, so that's great. So it's not just the fact that they've got to defend the byline and her going on the outside, it's her, also being able to come on the inside and just give a different look. So, I think if you combine that with sort of her tenacity on the ball and how she wants to get forwards and everything, it's a very dangerous threat for us, which is great.
Freya Coombe picked up his 100th NWSL win over the weekend. Just what do you think are some of his kind of biggest strengths? What's he able to bring to this league that has made him so successful?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that, and I got a chance to sit here because I know that if he sat here, he will just play it down and be very humble and everything. So, it's great that actually some people can speak on his behalf because I think it's an incredible milestone, and I think that what he brings is his organisation. He's such a good coach. The technical improvement that he's able to show, if we look at players within the squad, individually they're getting better, as well as the improvement that we've seen over his short tenure in charge of the team is fantastic, and the grind that he does every day, as well as the environment that he's able to create for us as staff working for him, but also for the players. It's a fantastic environment to be in, and I think that a lot of people want to be a part of that environment, and that's a great testament to him and his personality, his experience, and the fact of how much he looks after the people that are in his environment. So it's a huge achievement, and I think it shouldn't be downplayed, and I'm just grateful to be part of his staff and to be working alongside him because he has so much to offer, and I think you can see that from what the team is doing this year and is setting new records game after game, and that's a tribute to him and what he does. So I'm very grateful that we can all share in it because he's not going to talk about himself because he's very humble in that way.
He has talked in the past about just his pride and kind of excitement, especially for finding a player like Temwa. But what do you see from him kind of on that scouting, and how do you see him kind of go out and put together his team?
Yeah, I think he's got not only a great eye for individual, obviously he's got a wealth of experience, whether it's back in his old Comets days, in terms of, that technical and player ID there to, the modern women's game that we're seeing now, but also on the international stage. So his knowledge of players across the world is huge. Which is great. His eye for the technical element of the players, but also I think what he's amazing at is understanding what works and the chemistry amongst players. So what's amazing about our team is that we don't have all of the same type of player. It's a real mixture, and he understands the balance, the chemistry. He understands that you need people that are going to go and smash tackles in the midfield, as well as, you've got those players with flair that can create out of nothing. So he understands that balance, and then he instills a mentality in everyone, the Kansas City mentality. So you can't not have it when you come on this team. So even if you come in as a flair player, you're going to defend and you're going to work hard and you're going to represent the city in that way. So I think that's what he brings in terms of bringing the teams together and developing the whole team chemistry.
And then on like a slightly more personal level, it seems like he just brings a lot of joy too. He has so much fun in practice.
Yeah.
But what do you see from that kind of angle?
I think we all do, to be honest. Yeah. I think every time you see photos that are being taken of the players, they're laughing, I think the staff, we have this incredible sort of morale amongst the staff where we're genuinely enjoying each day that we get. And we work hard. Like, we still know that we're going to be held accountable, and if you don't do something up to the level, you're going to, be told that it's not up to the level. So I think we all work hard for that, but there's a real sense of enjoyment and enjoying showing up every day.
And we're in year 2 of the stadium, year 2 over here. How big of an advantage do you think is just the investment here and the facilities here, and how much has that helped kind of propel this team forward?
Yeah, it's huge, you know, having that investment from ownership, but then also, you know, having the fans show up. You know, if you look at something like the stadium, having the fans show up week after week and not only show up, but just perform themselves. Like the noise is incredible for the stadium, especially considering one side's open. You think that everything's escaping over the river, but no, the sound is kept in, and it makes it a really tough place for opponents to come and play. And I think our record is a testament to that. And it's certainly an enjoyment for all of the players and staff to perform at home, and I think you see that in terms of our home performances, you know, so having that environment that's created, whether it's here, whether it's at the stadium, it sets the tone for, you know, for us to perform at our highest level because the environment is at the highest level.
Last match, maybe an alarming decision was made, maybe kind of last minute, but Lorena not getting the start, Laurel getting the start as a technical staff. How confident were you in that situation? And obviously Laurel's performance, your thoughts on that as well?
Laurel stepped up and performed in exactly the way that we know that Laurel can do. I think Vlatko mentioned that Laurel's a starter in this league, and she once again showed it. She came in at last minute's notice, kept a clean sheet, performed to the game plan, and did an amazing job. And you know, I think we're really happy with her, and you know, she's incredible in the environment. Keeps everyone on their toes, you know, strikers especially, who I work with her, so she pushes us into our best. But yeah, I think for her, she can step in at any moment, and you know, for Lorena, it's a short-term thing. So you know, we're happy with the progress that she's making, and she'll be back soon.
How, as a technical staff, you know, you're in situations now where we saw it against North Carolina, where you were able to completely change everything, go to a man-to-man situation, and try out new things. What a privilege, right? Like, what a luxury that you have that opportunity. But how important is it to like take advantage of those opportunities and train different circumstances?
Yeah, I think that's a credit to the players. I think the players are given a very clear game plan from Vlatko that is changeable week to week depending on the opponent, and he's able to tactically adjust. But I think it's credit to the players that they can just go and execute in exactly the manner in which they're asked, and do it for 90 minutes. And I think we've seen a couple of different systems over the last few weeks in terms that we've asked them to execute, and they've done every single one to a T, and obviously we've had the results to prove it. So we're fortunate that we've got the clarity from the head coach that in terms of what he wants to see, and then also that the players are going out and executing it to the letter.
And then just one more, if you don't mind, just looking at the performances we've seen from Bia this year, no, there might not be the numbers that she wants in the goal column, but can you kind of evaluate her as, I think, one of the top 9s in this league, but just her impact? I felt so bad last week. I thought she was going to get one in, and you could see the kind of frustration on her face, but maybe not getting the stats, if you will, but just her impact.
Yeah, her impact is huge. You know, I think every time we're asking her to come into seam 2 or the space in the midfield and show and get hold of the ball for us and help distribute, it's huge. You know, the fact that she can do that under so much pressure and create for the others. I think, you know, we're seeing the stats from Coop and Temois and others as a result of the work that Bia does in the midfield and the opportunities that she's able to create, because you can't leave her alone. You know, as a defender, you have to make sure that you're all over her, and that creates space for others and other opportunities. But she's absolutely class. You know, in that space in the midfield, she's one of the best, I think, that's out there at being able to hold the ball up, her vision at being able to see others, bring others into play, and her technical ability. I think she's just missing that finish at the moment, but that's going to come. You know, you can see, you know, she's had 2 off the line in recent games, off the volleys and things. So yeah, it's coming for her. It's just once it comes, it's gonna come in a landslide.